Ryan and I met when we were working at an ice cream shop together. I had been working on my own, and my boss decided that I needed another person working with me. And so when he came to the door for his first day of work, I thought, oh no, this boy is cute, and I'm walking a different path. I'm trying to do something different with my life. And we just became friends because we had to work together every day. From there, our friendship truly just blossomed into a relationship.
So when I decided to propose to Megan, I was 18 years old. I was in Bible college, and I was so nervous to make that huge step in my life. But the one thing that I just remembered is that I wanted to spend the rest of my life with her because she was my best friend. During that time, right before we got married, I was 19, we were 20, I got asked to be a youth pastor in Borrego Springs.
Yeah, and we really enjoyed those first couple of years together, being young and just adventuring and growing together as a couple. So we spent a few years, about 3 years of our marriage, just together, adventuring and growing together. And after that first few years, we decided that we wanted to expand our family and go ahead and have a child.
Getting a couple weeks into the pregnancy, life was great. We were really excited to start telling our families. We had clever ways to announce it around Thanksgiving. But Megan started having morning sickness, and for us, being so young, we were kind of ignorant to it, just thinking this is normal, what normal people go through. And what we were about to find out is that it wasn't normal.
It quickly became apparent that I wasn't normal. I just had nausea beyond anything I'd ever experienced in my life. It was so debilitating that every one of my senses felt like it was on fire. It was like being blinded and deafened and pushed down into the ground all at the same time, and it was endless, and there was never any relief. The vomiting was completely out of my control. There was no resting periods. There were no times of peace within it. It was just an unending fight to try and vomit the least amount possible in my day, and it just couldn't happen. If somebody slammed a door and I heard it, I would throw up. If somebody touched my arm, I would throw up. If somebody turned on a light, I would throw up. It got to a point where I no longer could walk. I no longer could stand. I couldn't eat. I couldn't get myself to the bathroom. I had no strength left within me. Within the first couple of weeks, I had to be taken care of. And I spent my days just laying in bed, staring at the clock, watching it go from minute to minute, and I would tell myself, okay, we can make it to the next minute. I didn't know what to do, and neither did my husband, and it just kept going and just wouldn't stop. And finally, around 8 or 9 months, when I think that maybe I was what it feels like to have mild morning sickness, we just kind of grabbed onto that life of being able to walk around, to go back outside in public. We had our daughter, and it was a good birth, but after that we were kind of left wondering what that meant for our future and what had happened to me. When we found out what that was, a disorder called hyperemesis gravidarum, we were just shocked. Totally shocked that we could make it through a whole pregnancy, to the point where many times I wished that I would have died because of the agony I was in. Once we did the research, we saw that the likeliness of having it again and again was just going to happen.
And you fast forward a couple years, and our daughter she's growing up as an only child. We wanted to be able to give our daughter that blessing of having a sibling. And we were really scared, to be honest. I mean, I was terrified that I could lose my wife. So we decided that we were going to trust God no matter what the outcome was. And so we decided to take that step to try to have our second child.
We had the faith that even if God wasn't going to take away my disorder and my sickness, that He would provide the way, and we had that faith, and we saw that coming to fruition already through the support that He was providing through our family and our friends and our doctor and our nurse team. I feel like it took more faith for me to not go through the suffering as much as it did to know that the Lord would take care of the relationships that I wasn't getting to have anymore. To know that He was going to provide people to take care of my daughter when I couldn't be present for her. And that was as painful and as agonizing as it was to be sick again. That was some of the most pain I endured, to hear my daughter crying at times and being completely incapable and so weak that I couldn't stand on my own feet to go and take care of her, knowing what she needed.
It's a huge step of faith to say, okay, well, we're going to step into the darkness. And for Megan, that's really what she was making a choice, is that I'm going to have the next 7 months of my life be moving painfully slow while the world keeps on going. As a result of that pregnancy, we had our son Caspian. He is such a mixture of both of us. So many times in his behaviors, I'll say, "Oh, there's you," or she'll say, "Oh, there's his dad," and we just absolutely love having Cass be a part of our life. Addie has been just this source of joy to each one of us. She loves to make people happy. She loves to be happy. She is just, as her name means, a true joy to our family.
They play constantly. They get along fabulously. They are a perfect pair. When one has a strength, the other has the matching weakness, and vice versa. They support each other in that. And I can see being sick, laying in bed for months and months and weeks and minute after minute, I couldn't imagine the joy and the blessing that God had in store for us and our family and our children.
And when I reflect back on it, what comes to my mind is they're worth it. It's interesting because as a parent, we know that we make a lot of sacrifices, and it's a choice to make a sacrifice for your children. But we had a unique situation where we sacrificed when they were still unborn. And the time when they were in the womb was some of our greatest sacrifice we made as a couple. And to see them today, it just reminds us that through suffering is where we find some of the greatest reward in life.
I was willing to endure and suffer, not because I thought it would be any better, or not because I hoped that I wouldn't hurt or have pain or agony, but because I know that God's plans are good. He will bring blessing out of the pain.
We're not promised in this life to be without trouble. And even though our story has turned out well up to this point, we know that the real joy comes from knowing that this is not the way it's always going to be, and that one day everything will be made right that is wrong. And so we look forward to that day when our family will truly be made whole.